My name is Alicia Novin, and I've been a coder for about 20 years, and about half that time I also spent as a hiring manager. And in that 10 years, I've had the chance to interview about 100 or so wonderful people. And just given how competitive it is right now for junior developers to land that first job, I wanted to give my top 5 tips to help people put their best foot forward. So here we go. So number 1, it's an obvious one, build yourself a website. If you already have one, that's great. But a lot of people don't seem to do this, and I think it's because they overcomplicate what they think they need. Websites today don't need to be these big dynamic pages that have a client server front end and back end. It can just be a pretty static HTML page because most of the stuff that you're doing is probably going to be hosted on GitHub. If you've written articles, link to them on Medium or wherever you host them. But you don't need to build that all yourself. In fact, use your website to just highlight a couple of things. 1, projects that you've recently worked on and worked on in the past. 2, things that are current and active in your life, whether it's something that you're currently reading on or learning about, or new projects that you're taking on, and just give me a quick blurb about what that is. And then otherwise, use it as a way to let your personality shine through. Let me know who you are just through how you build your website and what the design looks like. Number 2, let's talk about resumes. Please, 1 page, no more than 2. Black and white preferably. I've managed to cover my entire career, about 8 companies and 20 odd projects, all on 1 page. So if I can do it, I promise you, you can too. Highlight your key tech, key languages right at the top. Don't rank them or rate them, just order them by your familiarity with them. And numbers will always stand out, so quantify whatever you can. Whether it's the number of downloads your app has had, the team size, the number of users, whatever quantifiable impact that you've had in the project, show that and highlight it because it'll stand out. And there's a lot of rules about how you should format a professional resume, and a lot of them are good. But the main goal to remember is that you are trying to communicate to the hiring manager the relevant aspects about your career and your history. So if you worked at 10 companies and only 5 of them are relevant, highlight those 5, and with a 6th one, just summarize the rest of your career in 1 blurb. Okay, number 3, GitHub. Throw up all your code that you can share on there. It doesn't have to be a full project, it doesn't have to be a full-blown idea. If you wrote something that just rotates images by 30 degrees, that's awesome. Throw it up on there. But don't just give me the code. Give me a tidy little paragraph on that front page that describes what you did and why you did it. And also show me how organized you are with your files and your folders. Nothing major, but don't include files if they don't absolutely need to be there. I'll take a quick glance at your code, but I'm also going to look at how you present and organize everything. All right, so number 4, some people might not agree with me on this one, but it's really just to use technology. Whether it's LinkedIn or Medium, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever else might come out in a year, whatever it is, just be Googleable in some way. And I know a lot of people really, really value their privacy, and I appreciate that and I understand it. And you can have a web presence while still valuing that privacy. It's just on some level, if you're in tech, one way that you easily can stay current on what is out there and what people are doing is just by consuming and using technology. So if you have no website or GitHub and no other web presence, it's really hard for a hiring manager to form any kind of first impression about you. All right, so hopefully you stuck around after that last one and you don't hate me for it. So here's number 5, which I think is probably the hardest of them all, which is, with everything that I'm going to come across, show me the various facets of your personality. So with your website, whether you're extroverted or introverted, creative or introspective, let your personality shine through and use it as a way for me to get to know who you are. Now your resume, it should be more formal and professional, but you can still let it show your professional side. So be very intentional and pick your fonts and your layout carefully. With your GitHub, show that organization, that communication, your creativity, your analytical skills. Show me how you structure your projects and your write-ups. And then with your interests and your passions, show me how you consume technology. But ultimately remember, Don't be someone you're not, but please be somebody. When things get too templated, they get to be bland, they get to be generic. So help yourself stand out by putting your personal touches in everything that you do. So hopefully you found this helpful. Whether you agree or disagree, feel free to shoot me a message. I always love chatting about this. Good luck.